Hi. Thank you for watching. My name is Kat Ramirez. I'm CEO of Advertise and Social Buzz. I'm an expert in online marketing and social business. And today I'm going to be talking to Jorgen Wenheim, and he's going to correct me because I'm sure I'm butchering his name, Managing Director of AAA Ressourcen. And we're going to talk about how European companies can successfully allocate and onboard IT experts at short notice through long-term augmented staffing in order to drive their software projects forward independently and efficiently. So this is really, really exciting information. And so let me welcome Jorgen.
Thank you very much, Kat.
Yes, yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Can you just give us a little background about your business?
Of course. I'm Jürgen Windheim. I'm, as Kat said, Managing Director of AAA Ressourcen. I have a background of 35 years in professional business, more than 20 years in management consulting, and the other years in IT line management. And the last years I was engaged in building AAA Ressourcen as a company and as a network, which took me almost 7 years to build it.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. And what is the premise of AAA Ressourcen?
AAA Ressourcen is a nearshore resource provider, but on a European level with a much broader scale and much bigger scale as any other nearshore provider I saw in Europe, because these nearshore companies themselves, they have a utilization rate of 95+%. So take as an example a nearshore company that has a number of 100 permanent employed software developers. They can only make 5 software developers available within a time scale of 4 to 6 weeks, so with short notice. And then it's very, very questioned that whether those tech stacks that could be made available would match with the needs of the customers. But we can constantly make up to 400 software developers or software experts, solution architects available, and that we can provide to our customers.
Okay, so now you're just leading into my next question, because what is the biggest challenge? What's the biggest problem with companies now in regards to software projects?
You know, it's a fast-living world that we are living in, and people and companies are very, very in a competitive mode to each other, and they have tight deadlines, they have tight time schedules, they have high demands from their customers because they're developing a software package which will be sold to other customers. So the sales department will put a high pressure on the development department, and they need to be delivering. And the problem with delivering is you have to have the tools to deliver and the resources to deliver.
Right. Okay, great. And so I would imagine that also that aligns with that is probably a lot of high costs, a lot of inexperience, a lot of failed attempts. So there's problems with that, because when you have tight deadlines, then that's going to probably have a ripple effect in regards to trying to just get people on board, right, to finish a project, and it's not going to be correct or complete.
Yeah, when you have tight deadlines, the number of the resources, the number and quality of resources is key to succession, right? And sometimes people still go the old way and try to build everything internally, and the market situation in Europe currently doesn't allow to do this. So you can't get those resources all that you need into your own organization. You have to add from external, and then it's a question to find the right resources.
Okay, awesome. So what do you feel like are the typical causes for these problems that we're running into?
The typical causes is just the lack of available resources in total on the market, right?
Yep.
We have a resource shortage all over Europe, and maybe also all across the US. I don't know.
Yep.
But it's everywhere the same, and who gets those resources, right? You can be the lucky one to grab one. but usually those software projects require more than one single resources to complete.
Yeah, and I feel like as a result of COVID or other situations that we've gone through, a lot of companies are having a hard time retaining good, qualified IT people. And so that is probably a little bit play into the resources. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, people are doing a lot to retain those resources. Same as my nearshore partner companies, they are doing a whole lot more to retain their resources because they want to guarantee resource continuity to our customers.
Right.
And this is the one of the biggest advantage that we are providing to our customers, this resource continuity, because when we have selected our nearshore partners, we put some very critical aspects into the selection process. So we were making sure that people that companies have a long history of 10, 15 years in professional business to be on the market for a long time, that companies have a low churn rate for their own employees, so that they stay long with their nearshore company. And so these are kind of criteria we needed to apply to select our nearshore partners.
Yeah. So why do you feel so many outsourced IT projects fail? And I'm sure you're privy to hearing some horror stories and things like that. So why is it a failed attempt for some companies?
I mean, if you go the old outsourcing way, you also outsource the product ownership. But it's key that the customer is keeping the product ownership. They cannot outsource the product ownership to a nearshore partner and say, hey, these are our demands, take the demands, and then deliver me my product. This is not going to work, and this is one of the major reasons why this is failing. The other reason is if companies don't have all the resources internally, they have to engage freelancers on a large scale, on a bigger scale basis. And these freelancers, they have to be managed each and individually. And when you go with us with AAA Ressourcen, then we take everything from your shoulders, from our customers' shoulders, and manage those resources for those customers.
Okay, great. And I guess I can probably speak on a smaller perspective so that if anybody can relate. I know that in a project that I worked on with a client, what happened was, and it was a pretty big project, was the IT person got to a point and then he quit that company that he was with, that was contracted, right? And then they couldn't finish the project till they were going to hire someone to replace him. And that held up that project. And to me, in my shoes, how I relate to the company or the business that is in that situation is that's not my problem, right? That's not my problem. That company should have did everything they could to address that and fix that, right? Because that's their problem.
That's always good to have the critical resources mirrored and duplicated. So if one is leaving, then the other can step in, take over, continue. So this is kind of the business continuity planning of software development companies. They have to do this.
Yeah. And it's always great to know that beforehand, before going into a big project, plan A, plan B.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So
exactly.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about what have you done in areas that are problem areas like these? How have you guys been successful at this?
I mean, we have customers that we are providing services for a longer period of time already, and they came to us and asked, what is your value add that you can bring to my company that I can take advantage from? And our value add is that we have done a long years pre-selection of our nearshore partners that we are sourcing from. and we have put all the brain, all the selection criterias on these selection process, and we are providing on a high capacity. So at the moment we have a total of 9,000 software developers under our disposition. So we can provide for up to 400 software developers and IT experts on within the time frame of 4 weeks, for example, that those people can start on our customers' project. And this investment that we have put into to build our company, this investment is worth what we are providing to our customers. So and then it's a matter of engaging those people and integrate them with the internal development teams of our customers. And then they can manage those teams as one team all together.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. And I think that sounds like if you're really scaling, this is like a great, partnership, to have with you, because, that's a scalable resource, to source from. Definitely.
And actually, sometimes the priority during the fly of the project is changing. When we started with one of our customers, the priority was on a high backlog in the back-end area. So they needed a number of back-end developers, and we provided those back-end developers. They also needed front-end developers, so we provided front-end developers. And then during the fly of the project, the priority was moving more to the front-end side. So they reduced the number of back-end developers and increased the number of front-end developers, still with the same partner companies. So the knowledge continuity has been guaranteed. And even if they're releasing resources and engaging other resources. So the knowledge stays with the development team, and they can easily re-engage those people.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. So is this kind of a situation as what you kind of alluded to in the beginning as the long-term augmented staffing? Is that what this is all referring to?
Yeah, this is. I mean, augmented staffing is enhancing the own work for the own internal workforce with external resources, but rather than engaging several external resources individually, they're selecting us as their strategic development partner, and we are doing all the resource management and administration process for them.
Got you. That is fantastic. And then the old way on how companies will go about expanding for their team would probably be a lot more complex, right? Complex and longer in regards to the same thing that you were just describing.
Yeah, the old way is building internal development teams, and this is very long time consuming and very cost consuming, and so it takes a long time, and they will fall behind roadmaps, and they will fall and stay behind delivery plans, and so this is not going to work these days.
Right. Because the client, again, as I had mentioned before, it's not their problem, right? They really need the resources today, and so it sounds like a very very strategic plan layout the way you have it. Within your organization. Okay, you talked about companies that successfully expanded their software teams in 4 to 8 weeks. So what are these companies doing right?
These companies are knowing what they want to do. They have strict roadmaps they want to stick to. They have delivery plans, and they want to deliver. So they are building their backlogs according to the roadmap and according to the delivery plan, and then they are engaging the number of resources they just need for these work to happen, and we provide them those resources. Then they have the tools and all the capabilities to deliver, and then they can stick to their development and roadmaps and the development plans, and then they also launch their products on the market as they are supposed to do.
Got you. And so it's a lot more seamless. It's easier. It flows, and there's a process in place.
There's a process in place and it's seamless, and the more integrated the external team works with the internal team, the better is the outcome at the end.
Okay. That is fantastic. Okay, so if a company wanted to implement an augmented staffing program themselves, like what does that entail? Like, can you kind of like walk us through?
They have to do everything what we did in the past to build our company. They have to screen the market. They have to select different nearshore companies, and actually the difficulty is find the right nearshore companies. And if they found them, then they have to contract them. They have to provide HR personnel and procurement personnel just to contract them and to get the people. And even if they have all the contracts in place, that's not a guarantee that they get those people. They better work with us, and we have all the contracts in place. We have the companies in place. We have the resources in place, and we're just providing these resources.
Right. So you really have to know the ins and outs of the system and how it works in order for it to work seamlessly and have the augmented staffing within your own company, right? You really need to understand this and have dealt with it, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
We're just supplying the resources our customers need, and they are working with those resources in the same way as they work with internal developers remotely.
Okay, awesome. And so ideally, then, it would be better suited to work with a company that already has this augmented staffing program in place themselves, so that they're not having to put more time, energy, and money and effort into creating one themselves, right? It just makes more sense to contract with someone else.
Yeah, I mean, they can do this, and they would save a lot of effort in resource management. And they have all the resources they need to finish their work.
And so I guess just give us the framework of why somebody would choose to work with your company as opposed to try to do it themselves, or, maybe they don't want to do it themselves. Why should someone talk to you guys in regards to a partnership like this?
I mean, still in the nearshore area, the daily rates are a bit increasing due to Ukraine and due to COVID interventions, but also according to market development. But still, nearshore daily rates are quite low compared to Western European rates or compared to US rates, I guess. The same, and this cost effectivity is one thing, but those people in the nearshore area, they are very skilled, very brave. You see it in Ukraine. They are very talented people and very, very strong people, and they have a similar culture as we see in Western Europe. So it's very, very similar, and people are very skilled. They're very well educated. And they're very experienced for long years, and they know what they're doing, and they're very talented in technology.
Okay, fantastic. So how does a company get a hold of you, Jorgen?
They can find me on LinkedIn. They can find me on the internet. AAA Ressourcen is everywhere to find, and there will be a way to contact me, and then we'll make a conference call, and we make a video call, and we explain our business model. There are YouTube videos on YouTube explaining our business model, so we have a lot of entry channels. Okay. We have a website.
Okay.
People just can contact me, and we'll set up a meeting.
Okay. And then, you work like scale-wise, what size companies?
Oh, there are different sizes. I mean, the customers are software as a service customers.
Okay.
So they are developing own software products.
Yep.
And the size can differ. It can be a company of 30 people. It can be a company of 300 people or 3,000 people. So this is not important to us.
Okay.
But but we can supply everything what these companies need in number of resources. So up to 400 is possible. It will never be 400, right? It will be something something in the area. Some customers of us are having a team of 10, some of 15, and in this area, we in this range, we will provide resources.
Okay. And then anybody that gets a hold of you, they have the ability to get a free quote, right? A free
Yes.
augmented staffing quote. It's free of charge. It's just having a conversation to understand
Yes.
the dynamics of what their needs are.
Exactly. You name it.
Okay, awesome. Okay, well, thank you for joining me. It was so great to learn so much about what you're doing and what the Augmented Staffing program is all about, and I appreciate that.